Hi everyone, I'm Sarah from Sourdough for Beginners. I'm live right now. I'm really excited. I have a very fun unboxing to do. So if you just bear with me, I'm gonna get some links up, get set up for some things, and then we're gonna open up this stand mixer, talk about all the stuff that came with it. If you're watching this as a replay later, I am going to download this off of Facebook and I'm going to post it on YouTube so that as you're going along, if you want to watch it again, if you want to see any little tutorials that we can do, we can find it. So if you're watching on Facebook, please follow the page. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, hit like, hit the notifications bell, all that stuff. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to do a whole series, for a while, I think, a whole series on stand mixer sourdough, testing it out, seeing how much we can mix, everything else. But bear with me just for a sec. I just want to get some good links going here. Bear with me just for a sec. Let's see if we can see this on here. Here it is. Okay. So we'll take this and we'll paste it. And I just want to tell one other person on here. Let's just go here for 1 sec. Here we go. Okay. Perfect. Okay, we're good to go. Okay, so I ended up speaking to the people at Nutrimil. So we've done some good polls in the big Facebook group. On our Facebook group now, we're at 945,000 members. It's crazy. We also have the Facebook page where we post information about all of our tutorials, and we've got the YouTube channel, right? So those are all at Sourdough for Beginners. You can find us anywhere. If you want to find a beginner bread recipe, if you want to find out about stretching and folding, anything to do with sourdough, everything you need is there. I did post some polls in the group and said, hey, who's using a stand mixer? And if you are using one, what's your favorite? And every single time I've done that post, people just rave about how great the Bosch is. They just say it's strong, it's amazing, it's lightweight, it's really fantastic. So I reached out to Nutrimil and I told them that this was happening in the group and said, maybe we should set up a coupon code for all of these people. So in the comments of this, in this live, in the description of this video, you will find a link. And if you click on that link, it will take you to the Nutrimil website and you can get your mixer there and you'll automatically get $20 off. If you're watching right now, so today is the 12th of August, 2024, until the 29th of August, 2024, the Universal Stand Mixer with the Baker's Kit is on sale, regular $5.99 down to $4.49, and then you also get the $20 off. So basically the Baker's Kit is the same price as just the plain mixer, so you get all that extra stuff for free, plus you get the $20 off. So there's some good deals there. So you can just get that automatically through the links. So here we go. So it came with a dough extender. So I'll just open this up. And the neat thing is, so this attaches to the dough hook somehow. I'm going to figure that out. But you would think that a dough hook extender would be for bigger batches. But what I actually learned is that this machine is designed to do such big batches of dough. They say up to 10 loaves of bread, but I think they mean normal bread, not sourdough. We're going to test it out. But if you're doing smaller batches, then you would attach this dough extender. So it came with that. And then it also came with this great little instruction page. For example, and it just sort of tells you what to use what tool for, when to switch to this tool or that tool, whatever it may be. It's pretty good. So let's get this open. Now, the first thing I noticed when this showed up at my door today and I saw the box sitting there, I was super excited. I've had a KitchenAid stand mixer before. And, they're heavy. They're really heavy. But this is actually really light. Look, one hand, whoa, not that heavy. So a lot of people in the group, are saying that the Dutch ovens are too heavy. Things are too heavy for them. They've got a bad back. They've been hurt before. So if you need lightweight, this is definitely good. So let's get into this box. So it's pretty well packaged. I'm pretty happy with all of the packaging in here. So let's just pull each piece out one by one and see what we get here. So how do you come out? Let's see. Ooh. I wonder how we do this. Okay. Put it down here. I might have to call my husband and get him to give me an extra set of hands. Okay, here we go. I got it. So in regards to pretty lightweight, you can see I'm holding it with one hand. Here it is. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Let's see if there's anything else here in the box. Okay, so we've got a whole bunch of instructions. They sent a little scraper, which is nice, a little spatula. I'm happy about that. That's an extra I wasn't expecting. So here it is. Here's the unit. It's pretty cool looking. I'm going to wipe it down, and I think I'm actually going to mix up a batch while we're live tonight. So we'll get into that. But let's get this open and see what's in here. So I don't know how this works at all yet, but try and pull it out. Okay. So it looks like what I think is that this lid, okay, so this pops off. And I think the purpose of that is so that you can add stuff while the mixer's running. And then when you've got the mixer running, you can close it up tight too. So if you were mixing splashy things, then maybe that would come in handy. I think that what my sourdough process is going to be with this mixer is to just follow the same essential processes that I always go with, which is, add the starter and the water first, then add our flour and salt and mix those in. Okay, so I've got this little doohickey here, and I think it connects to these dual wire whisks. So we get these wire whisks like this, and these are for like cookies, everything else. And then I've also got, look at this, the strength of this dough hook. Like, I wish you could feel it. It is solid steel. And then I think if we're doing small batches, that's when we add this dough hook extender. And I think I was trying to see in the picture how it went. And I think it goes like this and just sits on there like this. And so that's for if you're doing a smaller batch. I think what it does is get it lower down into the bowl. So we'll take a look at that for a second. Now, it did say in the instructions, so I'm going to get this done while I sort of clean everything up, and then we'll start grabbing some ingredients to mix some dough. But it said here, first use in cleaning, there's a factory applied white FDA approved grade lubricant on the spur gear and wire whips to ensure the best possible performance. We recommend running the wire whips for a few moments before using the mixer, then washing off excess lubricant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this mixer plugged in, get those wire whips on, and let them run for a second, and then we'll gather up ingredients to mix up some sourdough. So I just got to find a plug. So I believe that this is the motor over here. We've got our 1, 2, 3, and 4 speeds here. And then we've also got this M. And what I think M is almost like a pulse. So it'll go around and then stop and around and stop. Okay, so let's see how simple this is. So everything kind of just has like these little doohickey connectors so that things just pop on. So how do I get this bowl off, I wonder? Let's see. I wanted to show you guys how inside the bowl, but the bowl's quite big, but it's not quite as big as I thought it was going to be. How do we get our bowl off? Show me some instructions here. Let's see what we've got. And let's find a plug. I wonder if I can use this plug over here somehow. Bear with me just for 1 second. This will go like this. All right. We have a plug. Good. I might have to do some work on that. Let's see what happens. It's on. So that's on level 1. And I'm just going to do what they said and let it run for a couple of minutes to get that extra lubrication that they have off. So I'll grab our ingredients while we do that. Certainly doesn't seem like it has any issues at all with power. That seems fine. I'm only on level 1. Like, level 4 is no joke. It's a lot. So I'm just quickly kind of rinsing everything here, getting ready to give this thing a go. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to need the wire whisks for making sourdough, although they might actually work good for dissolving our starter. So let's just give them a little rinse. That seems good. Okay, we're doing good there. Now the only thing I don't know is how to get the bowl off. So let me see if I can figure that out. I'll just try to slide this back a little bit. So I've got my starters out. I'm going to grab my water and my scale and everything else soon. But I would love to get this bowl off. I don't know how to do that. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to resort to reading the instructions, aren't I? Universal Kitchen Machine. Here's our instruction booklet. Get started. Standard attachments. About your kitchen machine. How to use dough hook. Mixing bowl tips, page 17. Care and cleaning of bowl. Except for the dough hook, the mixing bowl and its accessories are dishwasher safe. Oh yeah, so it does say that the dough hook, we don't want to put that in the dishwasher. So the axle center column can be easily removed by inverting the bowl and turning the axle center column. Turn it counterclockwise. So like this. I'm not sure how to do this here. Let's see, Rick, I might need your help. Okay, so get the lid off, invert the bowl. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's off. So here's the inside of the bowl. And all of our attachments just sit on this tiny thing, so you have the whole bowl to mix in. So I'm just going to give this, oh, and then this says somehow I can take it off, and I might need to take it off for cleaning, I think. What does it say? The axle center column and turning the axle center column. Oh, I see. Okay, so you just turn this thing and then it takes this metal piece out so that you can clean the bowl without worrying about messing with the mechanics of it. So good. I'm just going to give this a little cleaning and then we'll mix up some sourdough with it. All right, here we go. So it all seems to have come apart pretty good. It seems pretty great. It's lightweight. It was well boxed. I'm not having really any issues. Pretty impressed so far. So let's grab our scale. So now we take our axle and we put it in, and then these things just have little places to line up, and then you just turn them, and now that's locked in. Okay, so then we take this somehow. goes like that. Oh, I see. And then there's little connectors here. So that's going to go like that. And then this turns to lock. Okay, easy. Once you get that figured out once, you'll never forget it. It's really good. So it's really not that hard. Okay. So I've got my scale. And what I'm going to do is get 200 grams of starter into my mixing bowl. So I'm just going to slide these over and move this guy over and get this mixing bowl off. So this way. Okay. And let's see if this will stand on my scale. Cool. Okay. So the mixing bowl sits on my scale, no problem. So I just have like a regular Amazon scale, $10 scale. Susan says, I love mine. It's easy to use. Rick Hopper says, awesome. Thanks, guys. If you guys have any questions as we go, definitely ask them. I would love to answer them. And if you're seeing something that you want me to try, then let me know. Okay, so what I'm going to do is mix up a regular double loaf sourdough batch like I always do. I'll try some really big loaves soon, but I hadn't really prepared my starter really well. So these starters are super active, but a little bit unfed. They're smelling a little bit alcohol right now. I wish I had prepared better and fed these, but I wasn't really as prepared as I wanted. But hey, this is the fun thing about sourdough is we can be resilient. So I'm going to take 100 grams of starter from each of my jars for 200 total. So I'm just going to dump those in here like this. Excuse me. So we'll get 100 in here. Just going to scoop some of that out. I'm actually not going to let this dough rise tonight anyway. It's too late. I always mix in the morning and get my dough risen during the day. So all I'm actually going to do with this dough is pause it in the fridge overnight. And then I'll pull it out and let it sit on the counter to finish rising tomorrow morning when I can watch it. But I'm just dying to try my mixer out. Okay. So I've got 100 out of this jar. Now I'm going to take 100 out of this jar. People ask me all the time, why do you keep 2 jars going? The reason is because sometimes I like to do quadruple batches at a time. And my starter jars can only hold about 300 grams total each before they start to, overflow and pop the lid. So I just keep the 2 jars going so that I can do bigger batches. Okay, so here we go. I'll refeed these starters in a moment. They're very hungry. So I've got 200 grams of starter in here. Now I want to add 700 grams of water. So let me just get some water here. So it's just regular tap water. I usually go for room temperature, but I never really focus on that too much. So what I'm doing right now is my level 2 hydration recipe. Find us on YouTube, go to the baking playlist. The level 2 hydration recipe is in there. The beginner bread recipe is what we recommend you start with. And then we say, start increasing your hydration. So it's 200 grams of starter, 700 grams of water, 1,000 grams of flour, and 20 grams of salt. So the bowl is still just sitting on my scale here. So I'm just going to pour in 700 grams. I forgot to tear my scale back to 0, so I'm going to go to 900 grams on my scale. So we'll just get that in. There we go. I'm loving that this bowl fits on my scale. I was thinking that I was going to have to measure into a different container and pour it into the bowl, but the bowl's sitting on my scale beautifully. So I'm not really concerned. I'm even happier than I expected to be, I guess you could say. So normally what I do now is I stand here with a whisk and dissolve the starter into the water. But what I'm going to do today is use my whips that came with the mixer. So the mixer comes with the whips and the dough handle. And I'm going to pop those on there, and I'm going to let the whips do it. Whoa, that's awesome. I maybe should have put the lid on, but it doesn't seem to be splashing. So, but maybe I'll just stick it on for now. Of course, we want to watch for our hair and such things, making sure that they don't end up in the bowl. We always have to be careful. Okay. Good. I'm just going to grab my flour and my salt. Okay, already right off the bat, that's the easiest sourdough starter dissolve I've ever done. So if you've ever watched any of my videos, I put the starter in, I put the water in, I use like a regular whisk, and I dissolve the starter into the water. I just did this with these dough with my whips. So here they are. They're going to get washed. And I'll just show you this bowl. It's like beautiful and frothy and happy and ready to go. I am filming from my laptop today, which makes things a little bit more challenging, but look at how frothy and nice that is. Okay, so now we're going to add 1,000 grams of flour and 20 grams of salt, and then we're going to use our dough hook with the extender on to mix this up. And then what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave the dough sitting in the mixer, set an alarm every 30 minutes, turn it on for a minute or two, and that's going to count as my stretch and fold. And then I might actually just mark the height of this dough and let it rise in the fridge overnight. So I'm using a full 1 cup size scooper right now to put my flour in. And there's lots of room in the bowl for me to get this in without worrying about spilling on the top part. I mean, I am spilling a little bit on the part where the drive is, but I do know that I can take that axle out and clean in there, so I'm not as concerned. But I guess if you were mixing, you would want to make sure you weren't spilling too much stuff down there. So I'm getting these ingredients in right now, and I can already see there is definitely room in here to do a double batch. I could take this up to 400 grams of starter, 1,400 grams of water, 2,000 grams of flour, and 20 grams of salt. No problem. I don't think there would be any issue with that whatsoever. So I'm starting to be a believer in their claims. So I'm just going to pour 20 grams of salt in. I'm getting very low on salt. I just put it on the list today, but I think there's more than enough in this container for today's mix. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm going to just set this aside for a second. So now I've got the flour and the salt in the mixer. Let's see if I can lift it this way. So there it is. It's in there. And I'm going to get the mixer on the base. And I'm going to put my dough hook in. So it's like there's like a little sweet spot. I actually don't mind that too much. Okay, so this time I'm going to put my lid on. Oh, wait, first, bear with me. It's my first time using it. If you were watching at the beginning, I just unboxed this, gave everything a quick rinse. Okay, so I'm going to put my dough hook extender on, which it says we're supposed to use if we're doing smaller batches. And in this case, I think that this our regular level 2 hydration recipe that makes 2 loaves would be considered a smaller batch for the Bosch stand mixer. So I'll just show you. I've got the dough hook on. Now what I'm going to do is get my lid on. I think there's like there we go, lid on. And then this one just has little connectors that you sort of find the sweet spot for, and then it falls in. And we're going to turn this on to 1 and see what happens. It looks really cool. I'm going to show you in just a sec. So the machine's not wobbling. It's not scooting. It doesn't seem to really be having any issues at all. So I'll just show you what's happening in here. Like, there we go. We're mixing sourdough. It's moving it around. It's scraping the edges. I think by the time it's done mixing this dough is going to end up looking pretty small in there. Pretty cool. I'm into it. So, like I said, if you've been thinking about getting a Bosch stand mixer, if you're going to get it now or if you're going to get it anytime soon, save that link. It's that collabs.shop/MZX link. Save that. You can use it anytime. That will take you to the Bosch stand mixer with the baker's package, or send me a message and I'll get you a link just for the standard Bosch Universal, because you always get $20 off. And Nutrimil makes sure that they always have the best price. So when you go on Amazon and you find the Bosch mixer, that's their shop too, but their website price is always better. The shipping is good, everything else, right? So if you do want to get a mixer, make sure you get that good discount. I'm just going to shut this off now and I'll show it to you in just a second. We'll see about trying to figure out how we're going to get these dough hooks out and whether we need to give a bit of a scrape. But so either use the links that we post for Nutrimil, or at checkout, use the coupon code sourdough for beginners, all caps, and then that will give you the same one. So if you're in the Nutrimil shop and you're looking at something else, their grain mills, which I'll cover those soon, anything that they've got in their shop, and you want to get that discount for being a follower of Sourdough for Beginners, then make sure that you use that coupon code or get a link from me. Okay, so some of the flour popped up around the edges. I'll show you. So I'm going to use this little spatula that they gave me. So around the edges here, bear with me. So here we go. So around the edges, there's a little bit of flour that came up and on the dough hook, but otherwise it's pretty well mixed. So what I'm going to do is just use this spatula and sort of get all of that excess flour down like this and clean everything off. And then I'm going to let it turn for a couple minutes, and then we can refeed our starters and figure out how we're going to manage the rest of this dough. So here we go. And I'm going to go live again soon and mix up a slightly bigger batch now that I've done this one. But like I said, this just arrived today. I wasn't really planning on doing a big batch, so I didn't have my starters really super well prepared, but I was dying to open this box and see what was in here. But I promised you guys, as soon as I told you that I had spoken to Nutrimil and they had given us this discount, that I would share it with you as soon as I got it. So here we go. So I've just used my little spatula, and I'm going to give this one more little turn. Let's see here. As my 7-year-old would say, so satisfying. That's what she's always telling me. Look, so satisfying. That dough is mixed pretty nice. Okay, so let's see about getting this dough hook out. Although I'm kind of reluctant to take the dough hook out right now because I'm going to use the mixer to do stretch and fold. So actually what I'm going to do is leave it. Should I leave it or should I clean it in between? I wonder. I don't want things. Well, I wonder how hard it is to get it out. Let's see. So if I pull this out, oh, it's super easy. Okay, so what I'm going to do between stretch and fold is I'm going to clean the dough hook just because I don't want the dough to stick to it. So I'm going to let this sit here for 30 minutes, and then I'm going to come back and turn the machine several times and do that to mimic the the stretching and folding process. So these just came right out easy. And I'll show you the dough here in just a sec. I'm thinking about letting this dough rise right in this bowl. I'm thinking about testing. Can I just do the whole process right in the stand mixer? Now, I do recommend that if you're new to doing sourdough, you use the bulk proofing success method, where you put your dough into clear, straight-sided containers, mark your edges, and watch your dough as it rises to get to the right point. When you're more of an experienced baker like me, I don't necessarily need that as much, but I still do it quite a lot just so that I can make sure my dough is perfect. So I'm just rinsing the dough hook right now. I'll show you. And the dough is just coming off easy. Like, I'm not having any issues at all. I'm just using like plain tap water, and any dough that is on the dough hook is just coming off no problem. And I really like that there's no mechanical pieces on the implements that you use, so you don't have to worry when you clean them. Even when you clean the bowl, you just take it apart. And so then when you're cleaning the mechanical parts, you know, you don't have to be worried about wrecking anything. Okay, so dough hook is clean. Clean up these whips, as they call them. I've always called them a whisk, but Bosch is calling them a whip. So we'll give those a quick rinse. There we go. Perfect. So good. Everything came clean, really easy. Turn, lift. So check out that dough. That's pretty good looking sourdough. I'm pretty excited. Okay, so I'm going to just leave this on here and stretch and fold it. Every 30 minutes, 3 or 4 times tonight. And then I'm going to stick this dough in the fridge to pause it overnight. Because I don't want to stay up and wait for it to rise tonight. So if you don't know about pausing, like I said, on the Sourdough for Beginners YouTube channel, find the baking playlist. There's one that's called Short on Time, Sick. What things can you do if you started your sourdough and now you're realizing that you're going to have to stay up all night? You don't have to stay up all night. You can just stick your sourdough in the fridge and take it out of the fridge and pick up where you left off the day before. So let me just feed my starters. So here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed my 2 starters 100 grams each of flour and water, so that I have 200 grams over and above my base amount. Maybe I'll go with like 75 each. So that'll give me 150 grams of new starter plus, well, how much do I have in this starter jar? 144. My jar, yeah, there's about 50 in there. Yeah, so I'm going to go 100 grams each of flour and water. So I just stick my starter jar on the scale. I tare it to 0. And I'm just going to sprinkle 100 grams of flour in here like this. Here we go. And then I'm going to let these rise on the counter tonight overnight. And then tomorrow I will try mixing up a big batch of sourdough. I have a feeling that I'm going to be giving away a lot of bread to a lot of friends now that I have this mixer, because I just want to try all of the different things. So I just tailed my scale back to 0. And now I've got 100 grams of water in there. So I'll stir this up in just a second. Same thing. I'm going to get 100 grams of flour in here. Here we go. So tomorrow, these starters will be freshly fed and ready to use. So now I'm going to tare my scale back to 0 and get 100 grams of water in there. Like this. Here we go. Overall, I'm super impressed with this Bosch mixer, and I've literally had it open for, how long have we been online now? What are we at? 34 minutes. So the Bosch mixer has been in my life for 34 minutes. I found that lifting the box, I was like pleasantly surprised at how lightweight it was. It seemed, nice, and it didn't seem heavy, which I expected it to be. They make claims that this is a very heavy duty mixer. And so you would expect that such a heavy duty mixer would come with a very heavy engine, but they've obviously made some good strides in regards to technology to bring the weight down on it. All of the parts that come with it feel very sturdy, but not any heavier than they need to be. So that's really impressive. Unpackaging the box was really easy. There's not a ton of waste in the box. I mean, they put just enough stuff in there to protect the mixer, which you want, but there's not all kinds of extra waste in there. The fact that the mixer comes with the whips, the dough hook, and the dough hook extender. I mean, you can make basically everything you could think of with just those tools. On the Nutrimill website, there's a million different additions that you can buy to add to the mixer, but you can get started with what this comes with. You don't have to choose between the whips or the dough hook. A lot of mixers make you buy the dough hook separately. This seems really good. And then when I turned that on, I mean, getting all the bits and pieces clean to use was really easy. It's not taking up a ton of space on my counter. I have like the tiniest kitchen in the whole wide world. Like that's my entire kitchen. And, I'm always struggling with where am I going to put things and how am I going to manage this size, right? I actually have a cupboard down here where, oh, do you need to use the kettle? Here it is. Do you need to use the blender? Oh, here it is, right? Would you like to use the espresso machine? Here it is. I actually keep all of our small appliances stashed under this counter here because I don't have that much room on the counter. And I'm a sourdough baker. I need room. I need room to be able to pre-shape and shape and everything else. So the fact that this is taking up such a small footprint in the kitchen, not only in the amount of square footage that it takes, but the fact that it's not super tall is making me get all warm and fuzzy. So what I'm going to do is let these starters rise overnight. I'm going to finish stretching and folding this bread and park it in the fridge overnight. And then I'm going to come back and make more videos tomorrow or maybe the next day. So definitely make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Definitely make sure you're following on Facebook. If you've got any questions at all, message me. I always answer. And I'm happy that you guys were here. Let's see. Bonnie says, are you going to start milling your flour too? Yeah, I'm thinking about it. So Nutrimill has their classic grain mill. And actually, there's a really good deal, Bonnie. If you're still there, there's a really good deal on the classic grain mill. Just bear with me for 1 second here. Will I find it? Here it is. Hang on 1 second. So right now with the grain mill, if you buy the grain mill, it automatically, you get this sourdough kit for free. So hang on a second. So I'm just going to post, here's the link for the grain mill, the classic one. There is a wood one too, but that's just the classic one. And they also have bags of wheat berries. So this is the one I've got my eye on. So this is just a 3-pound bag. So these are wheat berries for milling. Now they sell like, they sell 25-pound bags and 50-pound batches and all kinds of stuff. But right on the Nutrimill website, you can get this grain mill. You can get this one or the wood one, any of these things that you get. Just make sure you use the coupon code Sourdough for Beginners or go through any of the links that I specifically give you and you'll get that $20 off. But right now, I just want to see, how do I... Hang on 1 second here. So they've set up one of those sourdough kits that you see everywhere. Here it is. Let me open it on their website, view and store. Okay, here it is. So what I'll do is I'll share it. How do I share my screen? Present, share screen. And I want this one. Okay, cool. So if you get the grain mill right now, you automatically get this sourdough bundle for free. Plus you get the $20 off the grain mill. So it comes with the silicone slings. It comes with a scoring lane. There's a dough whisk, although I really don't think you need it if you've got the mixer. There is a bench scraper, a couple of Bannetons, bread bags to store your bread in. So it's a great little package in that sourdough bundle. And so somewhere in here, there is, so the baker's bundle right now is on sale for $4.49, regular $5.69, plus you get the $20 off. And then, let's see. Oh, they have an ice cream bundle. My daughter's going to want that badly. But where is this one? With the grain mill. Grain mills. Here we go. Okay, so here's their grain mills. Harvest grain mill is the wood one, and the classic grain mill is the plastic one. So anyhow, Bonnie just asked me if I'm going to start milling my own thing. You have 50 pounds. Wow, that's crazy. That's so good. I am, it's definitely on my list. So what I'm going to do is master using this, this mixer. And then the next thing that I really need to get is a baking steel, so that I can start open baking. So practicing open baking is going to be, next on my list. I wonder if I can find, well, I might be able to post it later. So once I master open baking and get the use of the mixer down, starting to grain my own flour is going to be the next thing. And I'll definitely be using those Nutri-Mill ones. So I'm excited to help you too, Bonnie. And I'm really glad you're here. So if anybody has any questions, ask them right now. Otherwise, I'm going to get signed off in just a few minutes here. But I'm glad you were here. And if you're watching this as a replay later, thanks for being here. Please subscribe and come see us live next time we're there. So bye for now. Talk to you soon.